to do 3 days on a raw vegan diet. And that means no cooked food at all, no animal products at all. So only raw foods, which are vegetables, plants, seeds, and nuts. And so she had to do that for 3 days and still continue living her life, not like stop living and then just do the raw vegan diet. So it had to be the two parts. Keep living your life, but instead of eating cooked food, you eat raw vegan food.
Hello, yes people. Welcome to another episode of The Yes Girls, where we, Claire
and Akumu,
say yes to doing, being or learning something new and documenting our journeys for you. Have you ever asked yourself how a drastic lifestyle change can change and transform your life?
I have. I always wonder if I should do more.
Well, now is your chance, Akumu.
That's because for this season, we are saying yes to some big challenges where we do, be, and learn something and step into the shoes of a generation or a lifestyle that we probably have never been in. And we see how it affects our day to day.
And this episode's challenge is Akumu alone saying yes to
being on a raw plant-based diet. Let's do it.
So Akumu, what did you know about this challenge before getting into it?
Honestly, next to nothing. Well, I mean, we said yes to being vegan right at the beginning of this podcast journey. That's back in 2021.
Yep.
But we did it together and that was only being vegan. So nothing, I mean, we could have raw things, but it was also cooked vegan meals, right?
Yeah.
So this is a whole other level of that challenge.
Yeah. And it's actually gaining in popularity, not without controversy, of course. In the US and Canada, for example, more than 20% of households are deliberately reducing their meat intake. And the highest meat consumers remain boomers. Okay, boomer. With millennials and Gen Zs leading the way in alternatives and reducing meat eating for reasons as diverse as cost, the environment, health, and of course, ethical reasons. In a recent Statista study in the US, more than 50% of respondents actually stated that health was the main reason, which is, I believe, a bit of a shift in the last few years when it was mostly seen as an ethical decision.
And in Kenya, it's still underrepresented. But there's a growing vegetarian and vegan wave spreading through Nairobi. And more options for meat-free, plant-based alternatives are being found right now. So things like plant-based meatballs.
Got some in my freezer.
Wow. I will not come to your house anytime soon.
You wouldn't even know.
Dairy-free milk. That's a lot these days, right?
Oh, yeah.
Plant-based lasagna. Are all these options healthy? Debatable, right?
Yeah. So a raw plant-based diet has some advantages, of course. Non-processed, no changes to the chemical composition, and true transparency and visibility into what's going into your body. It goes into your body the way it came out of the ground. But it's one heck of a challenge. So let's hear from our expert and how she prepped you, Akumu, for this challenge.
My name is Leah Nduati. I'm the founder of Yoga Experiences Africa, which is an online platform where you can access yoga anywhere on the continent, whether you're in or out of the continent. So you can access online classes, in-person classes, and retreats and events that are around yoga and wellness. And the goal is to make sure that yoga and wellness is accessible to people in Africa, and yoga and wellness that is African-centered is accessible to people across the globe. We started Yoga Experiences Africa 2 years ago, and that was inspired by my journey of yoga and trying to be healthy. Yeah. And so that's what we do.
All right. And you are based in?
I am based in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana, in West Africa. I'm originally from East Africa. I was born in Kenya, Nairobi, and then I moved to Ghana for work. I've been across the continent, different parts of the country, of the continent of Africa, but I love living in Ghana. So this is where I am.
Absolutely. So Leah, please tell us what Akumu's challenge was. What was the challenge that you set her to go about?
Okay, so because I'm onto this raw vegan lifestyle, which I want to make a part of my lifestyle full time, but I decided to try it. Akumu asked me to give her a challenge, and her challenge was to do 3 days on a raw vegan diet. And that means no cooked food at all, no animal products at all. So only raw foods, which are vegetables, plants, seeds, and nuts. And so she had to do that for 3 days and still continue living her life, not like stop living and then just do the raw vegan diet. So it had to be the two parts. Keep living your life, but instead of eating cooked food, you eat raw vegan food.
Yeah. And how you did help her. You gave her some little cheat sheet, right?
Yeah, so it's and I also offer this on my Instagram. It's not really like a cheat sheet, but it's like a guide to help you to feel full, because sometimes people are scared that they're not gonna get full or they're not gonna get all the nutrients they need. So I gave Akumu a guideline on what to do day 1, day 2, day 3. It included like foods that you can eat or adapt. It included seeds, and it also included supplements that you can take so that your iron is still up. You can still get your omega-3s and also your proteins. Yeah.
And so I set off on my own as Leah was in Ghana, and I tried to live like I'm plant-based. So spoiler alert, if you've listened to the previous episodes, you'll know I'm not the most accomplished or regular cook. So this could either be the perfect challenge or the worst, or I could starve for days.
Yeah, it was perhaps especially cool to put this on you, Akumu, seeing as we're taking turns with challenges this season, especially after your famous raw carrots and tea dinner in our first ever Yes Girls episode on saying yes to be vegan. So I'm excited to dig into this one. Right, so Akumu, tell us, did you find the thrill of the fruit and start venerating plants, or did you spend 3 days running with a running stomach?
I love how you say that, stomach, because spoiler alert, I found myself in the toilet a lot more. I think that was the key categorization of these 2 days, because I don't think I ever ate this much plant all at once, like all plants. So I kept going to the toilet a lot. The toilet did not get tired of me. And so what I did, I prepped fast with so a week before the actual challenge, I usually get a woman to come and help me cook. And then so I told her, I'm only buying vegetables, please, you're going to help me create salad. So she helped me cut the vegetables up, because that's my most annoying task. She cut all that stuff up. So I had a huge batch of salad in my fridge. I mean, I started off with adding a few pieces of chicken, of course, but I wanted to slowly taper into raw salad in that week. So I tried that a bit. And then I think I definitely didn't have seeds or the plant proteins as such. So I remember even telling Leah on email that I felt quite hungry because I was trying to go to the gym and not having any seeds, no protein whatsoever. So I remember at some point, even in the gym, because I do weight training, I felt weak, or I felt like almost like I was going to kind of collapse or faint. So when Leah sent the actual recipe of the 2.5 days, that really worked, because now by the time I did the 2 days breakfast and a dinner challenge, dinner and breakfast challenge, it went really well. First of all, I was surprised by how good it tasted. I didn't expect raw kale to taste good at all. Kale is not one of my favorite things, so that was impressive. The sunflower seeds, things I've never eaten. I honestly have never bought chia seeds. I've never eaten raw sunflower seeds, so it was all a new experience for me. And adding all of that into the salads was amazing. So I think the biggest learning for me was, wow, I can get full. Wow, it can taste good. And I didn't feel like I'd lost. I was losing energy because I actually went to the gym on day 2. Yes. So that's a summary of what happened. It was amazing.
Do you think it might have been different had you done it for longer?
But
this was a short one, right?
Yeah, it was very short. I think it would have been different in terms of, well, I did have pimples, and I remember I told Leah about it. She'll tell us what that means. So I found myself having pimples. I actually had mood swings as well. So but it's kind of like connected to also which phase of my menstrual cycle I was in. So I'm not sure whether it's the same thing, but maybe if it was 1 week, I would have been way moodier. I don't know. But in terms of taste and strength and feeling refreshed, I don't think that would have been affected. It felt good.
So what's usually difficult from my observations maybe of these sorts of, I want to call them restricted diets, right? Because it means you can't eat everything, right? If you go out to a party or you go out with friends, did you have any such times? Because I think that's where it can be really difficult. You go to someone's house, you came to my house the other day and I served you some snacks. Like, they weren't vegan. They weren't raw vegan, that's for sure. So like you could go to someone's house and say, no, thank you, I can't eat this. Or you go out and you can't have anything from the menu. Did you have such experience, or how do you think that might have changed things?
I think because it was a short thing, then I stayed at home, worked from home, so that helped. I didn't have to leave the house, so I didn't get through that problem. If it was longer, I would have, and it would have been challenging because you know how hard it is to find raw plant food in Kenyan restaurants, especially the ones that Leah suggested. Probably get the usual ones, but not like what you'd want. So I don't know. It would be way harder if I went to someone's house or went to an event. Yeah.
Did you find yourself having cravings in that period?
I honestly no, because so in the week before, when I had done the salads without any consideration of protein, I did have cravings. I remember having carb cravings in the week before. I was literally craving carbs. I remember I woke up and started cooking rice. That never happens. I never wake up and cook something rapid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was, yes, carbs. But in these 2 days where we mixed a lot of the protein and everything, I didn't feel any cravings at all.
That's interesting because I'm doing my second 30-day raw vegan challenge, and I just realized now I'm on day 18, and yesterday and today I've been having so much craving, like for French toast, rice, bread, like, yeah. But you know how you mentioned the menstrual cycle? I went to my app and I just realized that it's just almost that time. And that's
luteal. It's the luteal phase.
Yes. So what happens now is that I know that I have to increase my food intake, like a lot of bananas, a lot of nuts, just to cover for that carbohydrate craving. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I was still in the luteal phase, but those 2 days somehow I was cured. I did have any carb craving, and I do eat a lot. I mean, I generally eat carbs. Yeah, it's carbs, so I did have that.
Okay.
Could you not eat any carbs? I'm trying to think what
there were no carbs. Okay, at least no. Yeah, there were no carbs, right? In the rest.
Yeah. There are, nuts have a lot of carbohydrates. A lot of seeds have carbohydrates. A lot of fruits also have carbohydrates, but not the traditional carbohydrates like what we know, bread, potatoes. Right?
Yeah, because most of those traditional carbohydrates we have are cooked, right? I'm trying to think of one even that you could have raw.
We don't really have that.
Yeah.
Not at least.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. And in terms of prep, so Akumu, it sounds like you were, I'm not going to say you cheated, but you were clever enough to get help to prep, right? To do all this shopping.
No, that's only the prep, the trial week. So by the time I was doing the trial week only is when she helped me, because I needed a lot of, I needed to try out the salads. I don't even eat salads ever. So I needed to try out the salad. So by the time it was the 2 days, I was doing everything by myself because it was pretty easy. The stuff that Leah suggested was not really preparation intensive. I literally bought the kale already sliced, and there's spinach already sliced. That would be the biggest work. Everything else, it was blender or just pieces of cut. So it was not like preparation intensive.
And it's okay to cheat, Claire. It's okay. Like for my part,
I know I was being mean. Because otherwise I do find like a lot of I saw the recipes you'd shared, and I mean they're simple, right? But it's so much easier to grab like biscuits, right? Or some bread, or like those easy carbs when you're feeling hungry, or even like, I don't know, a ham sandwich, right? Like yes, the worst, the worst that you could think of for a raw plant-based diet. But you know, it's not so, if you're doing this for a few days when you're hungry and all you have, like when I snack, sometimes I will have raw plant-based snacks, right? Like seeds, nuts, dried fruit, or like cherry tomatoes or carrot sticks, but they are interspersed in, like, they're a refreshing change from my like quite heavy cooked meat-based meals. So like it's, especially when all you're eating is raw plant-based, you do want to do some prep to maybe kid yourself, or like, yeah, have things that are more mixed, chopped, prepared in slightly different ways, right? Like if you blend stuff, Akumu said you made like blended things, so at least you have a mixed flavors as opposed to just eating like raw fruit on its own. Like some more prep. So I'm wondering, like, if you were to do this for longer, would it mean more prep, or actually, because you're like, once you find some nice recipes that you like, you can just chop and change and have like, you know, batches of cut up different fruits and vegetables that you can, and seeds that you can mix in different ways.
Yeah, I think the prep. Yeah, the only thing I'd probably cheat on would be asking the lady to cut the fruits, to cut the. Yeah, but this one didn't have much because the cherry tomatoes already as they is. The only, yeah, it didn't have much prep. I'd literally just buy chopped kale, chopped spinach, and that'd be good. The
Mhm.
chopping the fruits is not that hard.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
perfect diet for a lazy person because everything,
No,
Really?
you don't have to cook, you don't have to do anything. Yeah, you don't have to make sure that all your fruits are chopped are in the fridge. So, or even you have like chopped carrots in the fridge, but that's it. And then if you have like your salads, like he said, like the diced carrots, everything is shredded. All you have to do is put it in a bowl and mix it up, and that's it. Like it's so perfect, and you just, it's easy. Let's say that, yeah. So
definitely easier
Mm.
than.
yeah, so maybe I can ask, did you notice any difference in your sleep pattern?
Huh. I don't think so. I don't.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not sure because 2 days is too short, and me I have wild sleep cycles. Let's
Yeah.
see. That's the week when I was. Yeah, I had a terrible cycle. Then I was sleeping quite late. I was sleeping like at 2 a.m. Waking up at, but I'm flexible worker, so I can wake up like at 9, 10 a.m. So I didn't notice a difference. I think for it to be longer, I would have noticed changes of wild dreams and things like that. I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think maybe if it was longer, I think you end up like really sleeping deep, not long, but deep. Yeah. So when you're resting, you're like super rested. You'll sleep maybe 6 hours, but very deep. And yeah, you get some like vivid, vivid dreams.
Dreams. So it's almost like pregnancy.
One thing people complain about a lot with this diet is a lot of chewing. Did you find it like a nuisance to chew? Your
That's a weird thing. No, I didn't see no, I didn't see any problem with chewing. Like because everything is crunchy, right?
Yes, everything is crunchy and raw, so you have to like chew a lot to kind of make it softer for swallowing.
Okay, that's so weird. What do these people eat? Do they just eat porridge every day? Like I didn't see a difference. I I honestly didn't see a difference. I like chewy things. I
Mm,
think the only little taste that was weird to me was the sunflower seeds. They have a very weird taste.
yeah.
So I think for me it was more the taste. Chewness was not even an issue at all.
All right. So, Akuma, we've heard from you about what you did. We've asked a few questions, but before we get more pointed critique from Leah and a rating, let's take a short break. Okay, so Leah, we've heard from Akumu, and now we need to hear how you think she did. Is she a raw vegan expert in her own right now, or did she barely dip her toes into the raw vegan smoothie?
I think she did a good job, like if she was able to do 2 days straight. And I think that strategy of having a practice week or a trial week was very smart. So I would say overall, I would give her, because she was supposed to do 3 days and she did actually 3 days, maybe 3.5, 2.5, let's say 2.5 days. Yeah, so I would give it an 8 out of 10 for the effort, including the fact that she prepped, and she went and got all the ingredients that she could get. Still went to the gym, still did her daily. It's not easy. It's extremely difficult. Like even for me to do even to do a vegan diet is difficult. So usually would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you normalize. And the same thing now for a raw vegan, to do the 2 whole days straight. Yeah, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Well done, Akumu.
Thank you.
Wow. What do you think about that, Akumu? Do you feel you deserve an 8?
I do, especially coming from episode 1, how badly I did in the first. So the first episode, Leah, we lived like vegans. We did have cooked food, but it was all like vegan. So
Yeah.
doing now, moving, this is even more extreme. And the fact that I really took my time and took my way out of it, practiced, and then actually got 85% of the recipes. Yes, I think I deserve the 8.
Yeah.
Now, I want to probe a bit more because it's not fair. Akumu gets an 8 out of 10. That is a high score, okay? And she didn't even do the full 3 days. She did.
I did 2.5, and then you see I'd already prepped before.
True enough, that's like a 15% discount on what you should have done. No, so what I'm intrigued to hear, because we said at the beginning that this could either be the best challenge for Akumu or the worst, because like you said already, you maybe only usually have like 2 meals a day. Like you do cook, of course, but you're not like cooking isn't a thing that you do on a day-to-day basis. Let me ask you, how do you think this challenge might have been different if you'd done it over time when you were socializing, or if it'd been different if, I don't know, you were living with other people or you were traveling, like how, because it's even 3 days is still a short time. I'm trying to picture if I'd done it for 3 days, how it would have been. But what do you think? What do you think were some mitigating factors that might change if you were doing it over a longer period, or if your lifestyle was different, I guess. And then Leah, I'd want to hear what you think of that as well.
Okay, I work from home, so trust me, that makes everything super easy. There's no one trying to abort my mission. So the fact that it was just the fridge is just like 5 centimeters away from the laptop, that makes it easy. And the fact that I had bought everything all in the fridge. If I was going out, I even didn't go for any quiz nights, which I usually go for. It would just be harder. I would be on sparkling water. Luckily, I'm not drinking, so it wouldn't be that bad. But I would be on sparkling water, and it would be kind of difficult seeing people eat carbs right next to me. People, when we go to quiz nights, people buy chips and it's just next to you. And then you just pick one and eat. So it would have been harder to have such temptations around me if I was going out. What else did you ask? If I was going out and if I was working outside the house, yes, it would definitely be harder.
Yeah, if your lifestyle was different, you mentioned, yeah.
Yes, if I was getting out of the house, basically, wherever I was going, it would have been harder because, first of all, I have to carry this stuff and then keep it in a fridge, and I'm not someone who eats also cold things. So having to keep raw stuff in the fridge before you eat is kind of annoying. I prefer room temperature food. So that would also be an annoyance. Having to go with it and then put it in a fridge because it's raw, so you have to put it in the fridge. I don't like cold things. So that would just be a deterrent. So I'm glad I did it in the house.
That's a really good question, Claire. So, for example, I have my kids. We have a full house where they eat the normal stuff. They're vegetarian, but they eat, cooked food, rice, chips, and chips is the hardest because chips are my favorite. So you'll have to watch them eating, and we have to eat together. So you have to watch them eating chips, rice, chapati, and you're having your fruits or your avocado and tomatoes and olives. So yeah, it's something that you have to like mentally overcome and be like, okay, this is good for me. This is what I'm doing. And then when you go out also and people are giving you food, different foods. So, but again, it's like a two-edged sword. So if you go out and you tell people you're doing the raw vegan, then you're more accountable. Because sometimes you can be home and saying you're doing raw vegan, but then you could decide, oh, let me cheat because nobody's looking at me, you know. So it's either way, you'll still be tempted. So it's just you have to like be mentally aware that, okay, this is what I'm doing. And the good thing when you're doing like a short-term challenge is I'll have it on Wednesday, or I'll, you know, when I finish, I'll eat all this. So now, like when I'm having my cravings, I'm like, okay, when I'm done with this challenge, I'm gonna eat all the chips I can eat, you know. So it helps you to do that one day to the next. But either way, it's difficult, you know, being home alone and doing it and be like, oh, it wouldn't hurt if I just take one cookie. I'm still, you know, I'll still be on the journey. Or, you know, if you're out with people and you're seeing what they're having and you'll be like, okay, maybe I should just give it a break, you know, for one meal, it won't hurt. So it's difficult either way, I think. Yeah.
And I guess because you do it for only a short period of time, if someone wanted to integrate it into their daily lives, they could give themselves more allowance, right? Like if you say, okay, I want to do this full time, but when I'm out socializing or when I really have a craving and I've had a tough day, if I want, you know, a vegan cookie, right, that is cooked, it's okay, right? You're the one, it should be you who decides what and how you eat, right? Is that a point you think?
Yes, that's it. And because before I started, I followed a lot of raw vegan lifestylists, especially on YouTube. So like for the whole of last year, I was just watching a lot of videos on raw vegan. There's a YouTube channel called Gillian Berry. So she interviews a lot of people who are doing this raw vegan lifestyle. But even for them, you'll realize that on some occasions, they will have cooked food. This is their lifestyle, but on some occasions, they'll have cooked food. Like if they travel or something, maybe they'll keep it vegan, but at least, so some of them even call themselves like high raw vegan, which means maybe 90% of the time you eat a raw vegan lifestyle, but you still eat some cooked foods once in a while. Yeah, and to a point Akumu made, sometimes you just want warm food, or sometimes you just want a hot soup, but on raw vegan, mostly you're not cooking the food. So maybe if you feel like a warm meal, if you incorporate this as part of your lifestyle, then once in a while, yes, you can have cooked
Let me
food.
ask you, do you think it's more suited to certain climates, or that's complete nonsense?
That has come up actually, like people who live in the US and, you know, wintertime, it's difficult for them to do this kind of lifestyle because you want comfort foods. I think really suited for tropical, you know, tropical or African countries because we have everything and it's so natural. Like there's so much fruit. There's so much, like if you walk out of the house in Accra, you'll need coconut water somewhere. And then somebody's selling bananas somewhere. And then somebody's selling nuts. Like it's easier. Let's say it's easier for if you live in a tropical climate, or if you live in like countries like in Africa where fruits and vegetables are more accessible. I think yeah. And I've seen this conversation also, like in the US, fruits are so expensive. Like wholesome food is expensive. Raw food is
Yes.
yeah. So there's also
And tasteless sometimes if they're out of season, if you've you know
yes.
some of the in-season fruits you can get. I'm thinking if I lived in England on a raw vegan diet, a raw plant-based diet, you know, the fruits and vegetables I could get in winter, like raw turnips, raw potatoes, raw
Yeah.
no.
Berries, the only thing you get, no? Berries.
Berries. Yeah, but berries wouldn't be in season. That's a problem, right? They'd probably be tasteless, imported from somewhere really far off. Whereas you're totally right, Leah. Like in Kenya, all year round, you have nice, tasty fruits and vegetables that are available, right? Like, so at least even if you're having, you know, a bowl of salad with minimal dressing, right? That's cold or room temperature, you've got some taste. But yeah, we'd love to ask you a bit more about how that experience is for you in terms of taste and enjoying food still. But I'll call my hand over to you.
Okay. Now, Leah, let's forget about me for a bit. I clearly have a ways to go. Tell us how you started your journey, this whole journey. I think you've told us a bit. You were looking at YouTube channels and everything, but how and why did you want to get into this? And why have you stuck to this? Why are you trying another challenge?
Okay, I think this has been more than 10 years in the making. So when I met my partner, he used to be like a health, let's say a health nut, and so he got me interested. So we decided, okay, when we get our kids, we'll raise them vegetarian. So our kids, my oldest is turning 13 this year, as they've all grown up vegetarian. So, and even as we were raising them vegetarian, so that means we don't cook meat in the house, we don't eat meat in the house. But once in a while, we'll go out and I'll still have the food, like chicken or fish. And then the kids started growing up and we were raising the vegetarian, and they'll be like, Mommy, but why are you eating the chicken or why are you eating the fish? Then I was like, okay, then might as well just cut it off completely. But one of the things I noticed immediately, because I used to have very painful period cramps, very painful, like extremely painful to the point where you can throw up. But when I started the vegetarian lifestyle, all that went away. Like there was no pain. Like they just come and go as if nothing happened. Yeah, there was absolutely no pain. All the cramps left my body. And anytime I would, let's say, give myself permission to eat meat in that month, they would come back. So for me, I had a very big incentive to stay vegetarian. So I stayed vegetarian. It's been over 15 years. And then in the last like 5 years, I was like, okay, I want to go vegan. I got diagnosed in 2018 with a thyroid condition called Graves' disease. And I thought, okay, what can I do? It was a very bad time in my life. And that's actually when I leaned more into the yoga. And as I was doing yoga, then I thought, okay, maybe if I also add like a vegan lifestyle, because I had seen about people eating vegan and getting better. So maybe things will change. So I started now being like fully vegan, no dairy. And when I was vegetarian, I used to eat a lot of cheese, milk. I love milk. But then I now cut it off. I cut off the milk, I cut off the cheese, and I was just eating vegan food. So for the last 5 years, I've been mostly vegan with yoga. So I don't believe that it's worked separately. I believe that the yoga and mindfulness works with the food as well. And so as I went into, more vegan, I don't know where, but I remember a long time ago meeting a guy who was raw vegan and all he used to eat was raw vegan. And then I remember watching a YouTube video, and I'll share the link with you guys. This woman was 71 or something, and she looked like she was in her 30s. And all she ate was raw vegan. And I remember at that time calculating, and I was like, okay, she mentioned when she started the raw vegan, and she was about 37 when she started. And at that time, maybe I was like 32. I was like, okay, maybe I have a few years. When I get to 37, then I'll also start vegan, raw vegan, and then I can look like her when I'm in my 70s. So now it's way past 37, but I decided, okay, let me go into this. And I don't know why last year was the year that I felt like I really want to do it. And I watched so many videos. Like every time you'll catch me, I'm just watching things about raw vegan, raw vegan, raw vegan. I tried a couple of times, and I remember there's one channel where they say that, your body is used to cooked food. Your body has already created or your gut has already created a lot of bacteria that are used to certain foods, and that's what they'll be craving, and that's what they'll be asking for. And so for you to be able to transform or convert to a raw vegan, you must do a detox, a cleanse. And the guy was recommending 40 days of juicing, only like raw juices for 40 days. After that, like your gut is completely cleansed out and you can now like go into the raw vegan diet. So I remember I was like, okay, I'm going to do this 40 days. I got a juice provider to be providing me the juices, but I didn't get to the 40 days. I did 15 days at most. But then when I did the 15 days, I was like, okay, maybe I can actually do this. And that was last year when I did the 15 days. And then because I was traveling a lot last year, I ended up eating everything, not even like vegan food. I ate a lot of other foods, including meats. So when this year started, I was like, no, I have to be serious. Like I have to, first of all, cleanse all the foods that I ate last year. And then I really want to go into this lifestyle. So I joined a community of raw vegans on Facebook. And then I decided to do my first challenge of 30 days raw vegan. And then I was like, I'm gonna document this on Instagram so that I am accountable. Like I have to do the video every day, what I ate. So it will make me accountable and it will make me not give up because people are watching the story. And that's when I did the first one. And then now I'm on my second 30 day. I don't think I would do the 40 days of juice because I think I will shrink to oblivion. But my goal is to just do as much as possible. So once I finish these 30 days, this will be kind of my lifestyle. And maybe once a week or twice a week, I'll eat cooked food, but I will mostly stay raw vegan. Yeah. So yeah, that's my journey, and my health is good. My body feels good. I did medical tests at the beginning of this second challenge, and I'll do at the end of the challenge just to see what has changed. But in terms of energy, in terms of clarity, yes, the mood swings come at the beginning, and I feel like it's kind of also forcing you to reckon with yourself. So you get a lot of thoughts, you get a lot of reflective moments. Sometimes you'll be crying, because it's like a cleanse. Like a lot of things are cleansing, but it feels good. It feels really good. Your body feels good. You get the pimples at first, like you said, Akumu, and that's like the toxins leaving your body, because the skin is the biggest excretion organ. So, and that's another thing, a misconception, especially with nuts. When people eat nuts, they're like, oh, nuts give me pimples. No, the nuts go in and they push out the toxins through your skin. So that's where there's those pimples that people say they're nuts. It's not because of the nuts, it's because the nuts are pushing out the toxins. And so you experience that. It was my first week doing this, a lot of pimples, yeah. But after that, yeah.
Yeah, in the same way that if you do like a face mask, right, and it brings out all the gunk in your face, you could look worse for a few days because all the pimples come out, those excess oils and gunk. But then it's like a cleanse. Yeah, it all comes out. And let me ask you a personal question, I guess. Do you still enjoy food? Like, is this also about enjoying what you're eating, or it's more enjoying the way you feel after eating?
That's a good question. Yes, I enjoy food, totally. And I'm a lazy eater even from when I was small. So I like that I don't have to do too much, but I enjoy my food. So for example, I'll have smoothies, put a lot of seeds inside that. When I make a fruit bowl, I add things like mint leaves to just, change the taste, basil leaves. My salads are usually avocados, like filled with avocados. So I love this diet because I can eat as much avocado as I want. Like I don't feel like, oh, avocado is too fattening. Nope, it's not. It's good for me. I love olives, so I eat a lot of olives, bell peppers. And yeah, I enjoy the taste of the food and I spice it up. So if you have a salad, you can also add like black pepper, you can add turmeric, you can add different spices. So it's literally all the spices you eat when you're eating cooked food. But now everything is raw. So the tastes are even like richer because you taste everything. You taste everything. Yeah.
And so in general, in your choices about lifestyle, diet, you mentioned like obviously yoga and mindfulness is a big part of your life, and also what we try and help others enjoy as well. What are the most important things when you're making your lifestyle choices?
For me, I think peace. Peace is a big part of it. So I want to be at peace. I don't want to be stressed. So anything I choose will have to have that element. So if I do my yoga, by the time I leave the yoga mat, my mind is like completely relaxed and at ease. When I eat my food, I'm not gonna feel like lethargic. I'm not gonna feel too full. And I'm also not gonna feel guilty that, oh, I ate too much, bread or too much fries or whatever. So it gives me peace. So one of the things that makes me choose what I choose is, will I be at peace with it while I'm doing it or after my work, whether I'll be at peace. So if I get off my yoga mat, my mind is calm, I feel peaceful. Whatever I eat, I'm not going to feel like after that I feel guilty or not. So anytime, even if I'm going to eat something else, I have to convince myself that I'm at peace with what I'm eating or what I'm putting in my body. And then also, yeah, even with work, the same thing. So an interesting intersection of yoga and eating is, as part of yoga, there's a philosophy of nonviolence. There are different disciplines in yoga. So there's the self disciplines and then also the moral disciplines that we follow. And one of them is nonviolence. And nonviolence is not only like against human beings, also against, animals, living beings. So one of the things that puts me at peace on this diet is that, there was no violence against the food that I'm putting in my mouth or I'm putting in my body. Yeah. So that gives me peace. So, and that's it essentially. Like, I feel like peace is a very big factor for everything. If you're at peace, then your body will be fine. You're not, you don't feel sick. Your mind is fine. And so all the decisions I make around my food and my work and, my mindfulness is just to attain peace and just to be at peace. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, that's the perfect answer to that question. I like that.
We wouldn't have written it or said it any better. I'm glad that you brought now even the wider environmental concerns. So my question is, do you ever feel yourself preaching about these things, or are you more to each their own?
So I believe my life is usually about, you will watch me and then you learn from me. So I try not to preach. I try not to preach. Sometimes, yes, like if people ask you, like, why are you not eating meat? Like you don't have any proteins. Where's your protein source and all those things? Then you have to now start explaining that, yeah, all foods have protein and you can actually supplement protein with plants like baobab, like moringa. So sometimes you'll be in an educative, let's say, like in an educative state, like trying to explain, but I don't do much of that. I don't get into that so much. So people like my friends, like Leah doesn't eat, or Leah doesn't eat meat, something, I just leave it. I remember one day with my business partner, he was telling me about this French restaurant, and it was like they have the best veal cheeks. So veal is a baby cow, and then the cheeks. So in my mind, I was like, so this is a baby cow that they went and removed from the mom, and they take out the cheeks and they cook for you and you like it. And I was explaining that for me, that's just too much violence. And I went on and on and on. And then after I finished, she was like, but they're still so tasty, So sometimes even the preaching doesn't work because people are set in their ways. So I don't do it. I'm just like, this is my lifestyle. This is how I prefer to eat. If you see that, my life is different, if you want to try it, we can try it. But if you want to live your life, it's okay. And I don't judge. So even my kids that are growing up vegetarian, now they're at the point where they go to parties, and at the parties, there's chicken wings, there's so many different things. So I give them permission. Like, if you want to taste, you can taste it. I'm not going to judge you or be against it. We just don't cook it at home, and it's just not our lifestyle. So by the time they grow up, the hope is that, they're used to more vegetarian, vegan versus the meat. But I don't want to be like, it's forbidden, you can't eat it, I will judge you, Yeah, I want them to just be free. Yeah. So I try not to preach. I'll preach about yoga, but not much the food. Yeah.
And it ties into something we've discussed in other episodes, whereby, yeah, if you try and preach and you're not kind of trying to see things from the other person's perspective, that conversation probably won't go anywhere, right? You really need to understand where the other person's coming from and say, again, if this conversation isn't going anywhere, either, stop it, or just accept that your opinions differ, or just present things the way you see it, not in a way that says, I want you to believe what I believe, right? Because the choices might be different. And I feel like a lot of these lifestyle choices are also, you need to be convinced. No one else can convince you. You don't know what it is that will convince you. What someone says, what someone does, how you feel, a health issue. Usually it's something you discover yourself. So it's great if people just offer you information as opposed to saying, you should do this, because that's probably not work, right?
Yeah. And the problem with preaching is that you're also not perfect, Like I said, last year, traveling a lot, I was in different places. I ended up eating meat, actually. So if I'm the one preaching, by the time we finish, or by the time you now go back or you get into an imperfect state, it's like you fall off a pedestal. So there's no point.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love your ethos of peace and non-violence in life, as in your food choices as well. So how would you say someone could get started on their own journey of discovering if plant-based or raw plant-based is for them? Where could someone get started on this?
I think Akumu just said the right thing, like you can have a practice. Yeah, you can have a practice run at it, and it's not something that changes even in a year. because even for me, this is the year that I said, okay, this is what I want to embrace. But I know by the end of the year, I will not have been 365 days raw vegan. So to start off could be just one meal a day. One meal a day could be raw vegan. Yeah. And then the rest, and that's not difficult because it's just like your breakfast is a smoothie or your dinner is a salad, and you just play around with it. And then the next week and push it a bit more. So, and some people have more willpower than others. So someone can say, okay, this whole week my dinners will just be salads, and see how it goes. And then the next week you try something else. And I wouldn't say that you have to force yourself into, I have to do this, because then you feel the pressure and then you break. Yeah. I think it's a trial and error. And the thing is that we've learned so much to eat. Like I grew up in Kenya, like if you don't eat a meal with meat, it's either you people are poor or broke or, something. Like we ate meat growing up all through. So our bodies are used to that. So we have to also give ourselves grace that, no, this is just an experiment. You just have to put it in your head like, oh, it's just an experiment. What would happen if I could just eat a salad as a meal? Because I remember a few years back going for dinner and there was this white lady and all she ordered was a salad. And in my head, I was like, how can you just eat a salad as a meal? Like, what the hell is this? And so when I started this 30 days raw vegan, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I could actually just have a salad as a meal. And it's just about how bulky you make it and how rich you make it. And you actually feel full by the end of it. You will feel satiated. So I think the approach is to just experiment with it. And like you said, there's usually a turning point or there's usually a trigger. There's usually something. So for me, like from way back when I watched that video with the lady on YouTube and all these things, when I noticed the changes in my body, those are the triggers. So for someone to try this lifestyle, they've usually had a trigger. This thought has been in their mind for a while. So, and the idea is that you want to do it, but if you want to do it all at once, it's overwhelming. So you just take it as an experiment and just, to do, even see if like you can have banana and nuts for lunch and that's it. And then that's for that day. And you don't have pressure to do it the same way the next day. No, you don't have to. You just experiment. I think everything is just experimenting and then see how far you can. Yeah.
Well, I
And
hope
you'd mentioned that you get health checks before and after, or you get health checks after. So is that also important just to make sure that, you're, if you have any health issues or, after you do such an experiment, you maybe just check in with a health professional? Is that something to be aware of as well?
I think so. I think it is, because even as much as like I remember the first time I went vegan, within that time is when I was diagnosed with the thyroid thing. So I had to be like, oh, is this what caused it? Or, was there something lacking in the diet or something? So I think it's important to not ignore science as well. So always have your medical checks. I've seen stories of people who went raw vegan and then they died because, they were doing extreme stuff, not keeping up with what your body needs. And it doesn't mean that after you do your test and the results are not good, doesn't mean you have to go off the raw vegan diet. It means maybe you need to add more supplements or you need to add different elements of food in your diet. Yeah. Because for me also, I know right now my diet is not as expansive as it should be. So after I do my test, I'm sure some things will show up. But the surprising thing that came last time was that my B12 is fine. All my vitamin Bs are fine, which people usually struggle on raw vegan. My vitamin D is fine as well. So you'll be surprised what the tests show you. So it's always good to do the test, your blood work, and then you'll see where you're lacking and where you're not. Yeah, don't just assume. Yeah, because the body is a machine. It's essentially just a machine, like any other, like your car. So you have to do servicing, you have to check, whether the tires are working, whether the brakes are working, all those things. There has to be a checking system. Yeah.
Okay, I really hope this episode will be a trigger for me because I'm interested in actually exploring maybe 2 days a week, just going, raw vegan and seeing what's
Yeah.
that.
And you saw the detoxing effect, like the cleansing effect. I heard you mentioning that your bathroom was your friend. Like, yeah, you will be so surprised. Like, even when I was taking the juices only, there's still stuff coming out,
But before we go, remember this: in whatever choice you're making, one guiding North Star can be finding peace and doing what feels right for you. I think that's the main thing. Maybe plant-based, raw plant-based isn't for you, but making some changes, swapping some foods out that just don't make you feel good or don't make you feel happy with your role that you're playing in the world. Find what's right for you and find your peace.
And thank you, Leah. This week, what did it look like if you said yes to that thing tugging at your soul? That small, scary, sacred thing. Say yes to it, try it, reflect on it, even write it down. We are here to witness your story too.
Let's keep this conversation going. You can DM us what you've said yes to or tag us in your reflections. Or just share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. You never know who's just one little nudge away from their next big step.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Threads, X, TikTok at Yes Girls Podcast. That one tap to share might just be someone else's lifeline today. And now some thank yous.
We'd certainly eat anything raw, not cooked by our producers, Sompisha Productions out of Snowball
sure?
Studios.
Are
I'd
we
eat
sure?
them raw even.
Oh my God!
He's saying,
my
calm
God.
down. Yeah, our producer's saying, calm down. Okay, bit too far. Our logo designer, Kags, is really very crunchy. And talk about a health kick, we'd get healthy for Ped O'Brien for our amazing theme music.
And what would a meal be without a side of you, listeners? Washed down with our amazing guest, Leah Nduati. Thank you.
Okay, so on the socials, I have two. One is for the yoga page. It's called Yoga Experiences Africa. And then for my personal blog, it's Leah_Nduati. Yeah. So this
So
is
Leah,
where
Leah, and then
L-E.
Nduati, Duati, right?
Yes. So this is where I document the journey and just so I'll be sharing a bit more about the journey as I go deeper into it, and the learnings as well.
What is something you've recently said yes to that is not anything to do with living a plant-based diet?
This is a very interesting question. So we went on a yoga retreat last month, and we had a workshop where they made us do a wheel of life. So if you haven't seen the wheel of life, it has different pokes that make up the wheel to make it a circle. And so you have to fill in, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where you are, maybe with your career, with your personal growth, with your family, with your significant other, blah, 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 with your money, So most of my pokes were fine, apart from the significant other, which was like, it's got like a 2 out of 10. And so the wheel was not balancing. Like, it's funny when you see it, and I'll send you guys a picture. When you see it, it's a wheel. So when you shade it in, you see like this part of the wheel is gone in. It's like if the wheel were to turn, it wouldn't, it wouldn't balance. So I thought, okay, I think I need to now start saying yes to dating and meeting someone. And because I've been single for a while. So I recently said yes to one date, which turned out nicely. And then we'll see. Yes, it's I don't know how it will go, but that's what I recently said yes to. And that's what I realized, that part of my life had been a bit neglected.
See you in the next episode for more saying yes to trying to make our lives better. Like,
Fill the blank.
because I'm Akumu.
And I'm Claire.
And we are
The
Yes Girls! The raw Yes Girls.
Yummy, yummy, says my raw plant-based tummy.